And now it is time for our Bay Area baseball bit. As usual, we are joined by our insider, Alan Stiles. Alan, we are in the midst of a historic playoff series, on paper at least. The first two games, one was a little lopsided. First one, both of them actually haven't been that much drama induced. But now the series shifts to LA. I guess first and foremost, nobody expected a giant sweep. I think most realistic people didn't. But even with that being said, there's a little pressure on them right now going to LA. Max Scherzer on the bump for the Dodgers, Alex Wood for the Giants. How confident are you that they'll be able to play their way through this thing? Because the pressure is on them.
Yeah, Jason, I'm glad you said a caveat with those of us that are realistic, because there are a lot of Giants fans that did expect a sweep, but we all know that the Dodgers, they're where they are for a reason. The Dodgers, they're not the surprise team. The Giants are. But with that being said, I think the Giants are going to be okay. I think they're going to bounce back, because the good thing about that game, if you can take a good from a loss, is that it was never really that competitive, like you said. So in their mind, the Giants, even though you're playing that game, you're kind of preparing for the game that is to come, that game 3. It's not like it was a blown save in the 9th inning or something like that. So they've been mentally preparing for this next game, knowing that it was going to be 1-1 going to LA. So I think they'll be ready, and I think they'll show up because they have to. That's the one thing about these 5-game series. The away team knows that if they win one, they can then clinch at home, and the Giants know that, so they know they're going to have to show up.
Let's get more specific with our pitching. We got a gem from Logan Webb in Game 1, mixed bag a little bit from Gausman in Game 2. Alex Wood could be the guy getting the nod for Game 3. What are you expecting to see from him?
Well, he's in there, and he's supposed to neutralize the lefties. Seager, Bellinger, even though he's been struggling, you got to neutralize those guys. You got to keep the righties off balance. So if he can do that, I think the Giants will have a chance. And of course, when you're the away team, you have to go on the attack. So he's going to have to attack those hitters, attack them at the top of the zone, work down, and make sure that they can't just read what is coming. When you can guess, especially in this age of the launching and with things like that, things can get pretty bad pretty quick. So as long as you can keep these batters off balance and they don't know what's coming next, you have a shot. And he's going to have to do that in order for the Giants to be competitive and hang around, because it's going to be crazy. They know they're away, and they know that like I said, they have to show up now, because this might not come to San Francisco if they don't.
Now, Alan, you're a West Coast guy. I'm not sure if you've been in Dodger Stadium personally yourself, but you're from California. You know the lore of that place. What are you expecting from the atmosphere of Dodger Stadium on Monday night?
Yeah, so now that I'm thinking about it, I'm kind of upset with myself that I'm even wearing blue. It's not Dodger blue, but it's a little too close now that I'm thinking about it. But it's going to be crazy. It's going to be electric. All those types of things. The fans might not show up till the 5th inning, but when they do, it's going to be crazy in there. And the Giants know that. Everybody knows, like we said, this is the first time this has ever happened. So it's going to be crazy. And a little tidbit for you guys. I don't know if there are any Mets fans that are listening to this or watching this, but the Dodgers and Giants, if you really look closely and blur your eyes a little bit, you might feel like your team is playing. And that's because the Mets colors are from the Dodgers and the Giants leaving, which is a little tidbit that I learned not too long ago. So, this is a historic matchup in every sense of the word, and it's going to continue to be that way.
The Giants have had a lot of historical moments over the last 10 years. It seems like there was always a hero who emerged during their previous World Series runs. Who do you want to see step up this season, or who do you think might do that as we continue in this series?
So the one knock on the Giants was that there wasn't a clear-cut MVP. I was asked on this show a while back, who would it be? And it would be Brandon Crawford. I don't think anybody could deny that. But past that, there's not that big bopper MVP guy. Maybe Chris Bryant, he's been an MVP in the past. But if I'm looking at moving forward, it's got to be Lamont Wade Jr., because he's one of those guys who during the season you showed up. And like we always say, there's one thing to exceed expectations when they're low. It's another thing to meet those expectations as they get higher. And Lamont Wade Jr., now you have expectations because you've been doing it all season for the Giants. And we're going to need you to do it now. Like I said, if they want this to come back to San Francisco. So that's the guy that I got on my mind. He's got to show up. He's got to do something more than, especially when the Giants don't have these base stealers, these singles, trying to string these hits together doesn't really work. You need that big bang, and hopefully it comes from Lamont Wade Jr.
That is certainly a great candidate for that. All righty, there you have it. That's our Bay Area baseball bit with our insider, Alan Stiles. We'll be right back after a quick break.